Hi, I'm Susan with StartStudioArt.com, and I have a Facebook group that's StArt, Stampin' Up Art with Susan, and I wanted to show everybody this just quick and really versatile fun card to make. I got my inspiration from Jackie Ballhouse. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, and she did this idea of the format and this awesome idea of just putting a little score line to make a frame on what is a really elegant, literally one layer card. And she used the winter woods and friendly expressions in her examples to do some really nice, with the idea of the tree graphic and the moon, you make me proud, life is tough but so are you, and that was kind of what she took off with the friendly expressions stamp set and of course the winter woods stamp set. And I used the winter woods stamp set in combination with Merry Christmas to All to make the Christmas cards. So we have a Happy Holidays and Christmas Blessings and the nice big sentiment, may the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy, as what we used during the workshop. But unfortunately, I have a need for a couple sympathy cards. So I changed out the balmy blue that we used for the holiday card and used the soft sea foam. It's just a little more tranquil color, and then our sincere condolences. And those come from another current stamp set, Kindness and Compassion. And in addition to the sympathy sentiments, there's just this beautiful script for thank you, and also like thank you for your expression, for your kind expression of sympathy. But you could use this for, straightforward thank you cards. Thank you, it is deeply appreciated and will always be remembered. Thank you from all of us. But it's just really nice to have not just simple one and done thoughts for a sympathy card. So I was really happy to get my hands on that stamp set and put it to good use. So just pretty quickly, I'm going to move through how this card is made, and hopefully under the pressure I won't have too big of slip-ups, but I just really like that for a sympathy card. So what I'm using is the shimmer paper. Love, love, love this paper. It's a great weight to stand up to, the scoring technique, and it adds a little bit of elegance with that little bit of shimmer. In addition, I keep it in my stash because it will stand up to watercolor techniques. So half sheet of the shimmer cardstock, just to make a standard A2 base. So the first thing I'm going to do is score this at 4 1/4, and I purposely set my cutting blade way down at the bottom. We'll just get that out of the picture so I don't touch it again. So I'm going to score it in half, and then I'm going to do that little frame. It just makes the illusion of a mat by scoring around the face of the card. So you can look at this, a couple different ways. I can line up my score for the card base at 4, and then I'm going to score 1/4 inch in. It also, if you don't want to worry too much about the measurements, this first line off of the groove here is your 1/4 inch. So you can just look at this line, or you can worry about the measurements. And then you bring the score to 1/4 inch in, give it a little pressure, and come to 1/4 inch at the bottom. And I'm gonna rotate my card base and apologize for a little bit of, look like a little bit of puppy fur. We have a little rescue puppy. And he's not shedding badly, but we do see it sometimes. So again, I'm 1/4 inch in, and I'm gonna bring that down to 4 inches here. Rotate. And now I can set this at 4, or now see my score line is right on this first line. And you can kind of feel, I don't have to put my head in front of the camera there and make it horrible for you all. You can kind of feel the, it's like a little ball bearing here in the score side. You can feel that kind of settle into the previous scoring marks. And then you just want to be careful. At this point in time, we're going on this part of the card. I was doing these kind of tired one night and kind of did an oops there. But that's all it is. I'm going to fold this over, pardon me, while I get it lined up. And I can set this out of the way. I should probably have pulled my bone folder out to score that a little better, but there's my card front. And then for the masking, here I've done one ahead and I haven't finished the stamping. And this one I accidentally did a little overshoot. I don't know if you can see my embossed score. So I just took it all the way to the edge. And I just made that, instead of just a matte, I gave it the corners. And I kind of like the way that looks as well. So for the workshop, I made the masks and I included the full adhesive Post-it. So I actually put the Post-it onto the, this is just cheap typing paper, and put a little tape runner to hold it in place. And I found that just is a little bit nicer to hold things down when you put them on the card. And you can see I, use these in the workshop. We're going to use them again and again. They work just fine. But I did it this way so I can just rest that over my card front. And I've got my card front pretty much covered except for the area that I want to make the moon. And I'm not really dragging. It was balmy blue that we used for the Christmas cards. And you can see that dry ink is here on my mask, but it's not really transferring into the new cards. So I'm gonna just keep using it. It's not broke, I don't need to fix it. So soft sea foam, and I want a little darker color around the edge of the mask. So I'm gonna start at the outside and kind of work my way in. And just give it a little until I think I get enough saturation. This particular ink pad isn't super saturated, so you do want to be a little bit careful if you've applied re-inker to a stamp pad. You can get pretty heavy color saturation if you don't start at the outside and kind of work your way in. But I've used this on a few, so I have a pretty good sense of how much ink it's going to lay down. And then while I don't want the inside quite as heavy as the outside edge of the moon, I do want some color saturation. So, and see how nice that stays in place. I'm being, fairly strong with this, but that combination of the full adhesive back Post-it behind the copy paper just works really well. So, and we're done with that. Now, making several, I kind of started down the path of doing this step over and over again. As I mentioned, sadly, I have a couple sympathy cards to send this week. And it's nice to have, at least one or two of those ready if you do have a need. So I'll finish out this little one and show you how awesome the Stamparatus is to finish these professionally, quickly. So I've already mounted this string of trees from Winter Woods and the sentiment from the Kindness and Compassion. And thankfully they fit. They're not so close that I couldn't fit them on the same. So it's really nice to be able to just ink those and stamp those up together. Oops, my foam slipped a little bit out of the corner. There we go. So I'm just gonna put my card in there. Make sure that my magnets aren't gonna get in the way. And of course, you know to be careful not to let those magnets jump to each other. But just kind of ink this up. And I think that's gonna miss my magnet. Yep. Just kind of give it a second. It's a little bit light. The joy of the Stamparatus. I don't mind the trees looking a little bit soft. I think that's the nature of the design, but I like a little bit better impression right there in the middle of the group of trees. So we'll just give that another go. Nice. Look how beautiful that script is. So I'm going to move my magnets aside probably first. And then just so I don't accidentally get ink from this, because I am going to use it again, I'll leave that kind of inked up, but I am going to just remove that plate and they just lift out. I can set that aside where I'm not worried about contaminating anything. And then one of the things I've learned with the Stamparatus, if I don't have layers and layers on the front, I'm not using dimensionals or anything with this, I can simply open the card. I don't think I'm gonna, the ink's probably dry, but I can simply open the card, put the magnets back in place, and do the sentiment for the inside by dropping the plate down from above. Just gotta be a little bit careful not to bend the front, and see. And again, that wouldn't work if you had a lot of thickness in layers, but since this is just a one layer card, look how beautiful that is. I just love that script. And that is that. I was planning on using the this group of trees. It's really pretty beautiful to stamp off once, so I'll probably use the soft seafoam, and even though it's a light color, I'll stamp off the trees and then put that on the envelope, so it almost looks like a watermark on the envelope, and they'll be all set. So one thing to keep in mind, Winter Woods, if you're looking at the retirement list, Winter Woods as a bundle is on the retirement list, and that means if you want to get the coordinating dies, which are a wonderful set, you want to do that before the end of the year. Winter Woods and the dies will be available after the beginning of the year, but they will not be at the bundled discount. So you'd have to order them individually. Alrighty, thanks very much. I hope you are all doing well, and happy holidays.